Okay. Hi Joanna, hi Max. My name is Danielle Green and this is my application to be one of the 2015 Spring Retreat Leaders for the Florida Cicerones. So to start off, I guess I want to just tell you a little bit about myself and my story. This is my third year here at the University of Florida and I am a member of the 2014 newbie class for Cicerones. So I've only been here about a year, but it's been a great experience so far. Before I got to the University of Florida, growing up I moved around a lot. I was actually born in Michigan, and then I ended up living in a couple different cities and states before I ended up graduating and coming here. The biggest move, though, or the one that I thought was going to be the biggest, was when I moved from Michigan to Orlando, Florida. And that was a huge deal for me. I thought, oh my goodness, my life is over, everything that I know is here, how in the world am I going to make it? But to be completely honest, that was probably one of the best moves, the best things that could have happened to me. I had an incredible time in Orlando. I grew up so much, and I really loved it. And so I ended up living there for 8 years, and then I was finishing my 10th grade year, and my parents informed me that we were going to be moving again. So we moved to Jacksonville, Florida. And when I found that I was moving then, my first thought honestly was like, okay, you have 2 years left, just do what you can to get through it, make sure you still get good grades, if you're going to be involved, that's fine, but just make it through these 2 years, and then don't worry, you'll get to college, and college will be great. But one thing that I really had to learn was just to be present. And it's really important to me that I make the most of my time wherever I am, because if I'm in a position, if I'm in a particular location, I'm there for a reason. And it's really important to me that I do what I can to grow and learn and give back in whatever environment I find myself in. So one thing that was really big for me there, when I decided, when I was moving, I decided that from here on out, every experience I have is going to be a good one, because either I'm going to enjoy it, or if I don't enjoy it, I'm going to learn from it. And that's really just been a philosophy that I've learned to live by. And it's hard to kind of keep that mentality all the time, but it's so rewarding for me. That really helps me out, just because I know if I'm going through something tough, you can learn something from it. If you find yourself in a long line, it's like, hey, you can work on your patience. If you find yourself, having a great time with friends, enjoy it. Just be present and make the most of it. So for me, during that time, I grew a lot in just the area of learning about myself and really figuring out what I'm passionate about and what I want to do with my life. Growing up, I was best friends, and I still am, with my older sister. She's about 3 years older than me. And so when we moved around a lot when we were younger, she was the one person I had in front of me who I could kind of learn from. And so, the mistakes she made or things she got involved in, a lot of that really did shape who I was and who I became. But, just like everyone else, I had that time when I had to really figure out who I was as a person. And I understand that experiences shape us and influence us, but that doesn't make us any less unique. And, we still are special and we all matter. So when I was in Jacksonville those 2 years, I decided to really take advantage of the opportunities that were in front of me to figure out what I'm passionate about and really just kind of learn things about myself and decide, who I'm going to be and what I'm going to do with my life. So I had a lot of really incredible opportunities during those years. I did my first trip out of the country. I got to go to Peru on a mission trip, and I ended up going back the next 2 years, and it was just so incredible to really get out of my comfort zone there. I got involved volunteering at a couple different organizations near my home, whether they were school related or church related or just community things, and I really just learned, I guess, what I love and what makes me happy. And I think it's so important to really know yourself and know those little things about yourself, because that's who, those are the things that make us unique. So that was really cool for me. And again, with that passion that I really discovered in myself, I used that to sort of shape, my involvement in college and just shape the things that I, surround myself with and that sort of thing. So it was a really great experience. To answer your question of, am I a 7 out of 10 or a 5 out of 5, I would say that I'm definitely a 5 out of 5. Now, I know that no one is perfect. And so I think, originally I looked at that question and it's like, well, I guess I'm a 7 out of 10 because I'm not perfect and there are things that I need to grow on and there are areas in which I need development. But at the end of the day, we can make as many checklists as we can think of. We can put all these different characteristics on a sheet. We can talk about all the potential qualities that we would love to have, and we're going to be missing some because we don't have everything. But I think the important thing to realize is that we do have something, and everyone has something, and that's what's important, because I know that I'm lacking in certain areas, but I know that there are certain things that are great that I bring to the table. So I would definitely say I'm a 5 out of 5 because I know that there are at least 5 phenomenal things about myself that no one else can say they have in the same way that I do. And I think that's what's important. And it's not just having those 5 things, because everyone does, but it's about realizing them, and it's about how you can use those to make a difference in the world. So to kind of give you an idea of what my 5 out of 5 are, because again, everyone has their own. I would say for the first thing that I'm genuine. And I know we all talk about what it means to be genuine and what it means to be honest or authentic, but something that's been really big for me in these last, 5 years that I've really been growing is understanding that because I don't have all the answers, I need to be honest with myself. And, it's okay to say I don't have the answer in this area because that's the best way that I can learn. Which brings me to the second thing. Out of my 5 out of 5, I'm a learner. It's really important for me to make sure that I'm constantly growing. Like I said, there are always areas in which I can improve, so it's important for me to really just know what those are. And I really love opportunities to learn new things. I love new information. I love new perspectives. I love meeting people who can help me look at things in a different light. I think there's just so much, knowledge in the world. There's just so much out there. It's really important that I take advantage of it. I don't ever want a day to pass me by where I don't learn something new. And kind of going off of that, I would say that I'm self-aware. That's my third quality that I have that, gives me that 5 out of 5. And being self-aware has been huge for me, especially in college, because it's really important that I know not only how I work, but how I don't work. If there's a certain type of situation that gets me stressed out, I need to know what that is so that when I see it coming, I can prepare for it. I think it's important to know what makes me happy, what makes me feel fulfilled, and really just kind of what makes me who I am. And those little qualities, just being able to know those and talk about those, it makes it so much easier for me to be able to relate to people. I think the more that I know about myself, the easier it is for me to learn about other people and really just be able to connect with them and see like, oh wow, we have this in common, or wow, we don't have that in common, so please tell me more. That's a really, just a really important thing to me. For the fourth quality, I would say that I'm a mentor. One thing I always love to say is that human resources are the most valuable resources on the planet. I believe that people are worth investing in. I believe that the best use of my time is in helping other people become better. And I know a lot of that sounds probably really cliche, but the things that I'm passionate about really are just developing leaders. And I like to do that in as many ways as I can and on as many different scales as I can. One of my favorite things to do is work with middle school students, and that's kind of what I want to do. As a career, which scares people because, middle school is a terrifying time and it's such an awkward age gap and, no one knows what they're doing. But I think it's such a valuable age because those kids are, teachable and moldable and they're willing to learn if they can get the right kind of guidance. So being a mentor is really important to me, and being a mentor comes in so many different ways. I'd like to think that I've been a good mentor to my younger brother. He's 5 years younger than me, and, just being there for him. It's really cool because I think when you put yourself in a position to help someone else, it really does give you kind of that extra check and make you think, okay, well, if I do this, how is this person who looks up to me going to react? And how is it going to affect them? And when you're living for more than just yourself, I think it's just a really great way to regulate your behavior and, keep your priorities in check. I have, those opportunities to become more of an official mentor. For example, I'm a resident assistant and I have, people I live with every day, and we call it the fishbowl because, they see what you're doing. They see you out on campus, they see you when you're, hanging out in your pajamas, they see you when you're studying, working on homework, putting on programs for them and things like that. And I think it's important as a mentor to show them that you're a real person, first of all, but also that you care about them. There's something really powerful about having someone in your life who's really invested in your success and who really does genuinely want the best for you. And that's something that I never want to give up. I never want to stop mentoring people. That's something that is invaluable, and I want to be able to provide that to as many people as possible. And finally, for the last thing that gives me my 5 out of 5, I would say that I'm passionate. If you're familiar with Strengths Quest at all, one of my favorite top 5 strengths that I have is belief. And basically, belief just is the kind of person that you have these particular guiding principles and this passion that really, shapes your sense of purpose and who you are and what you do. And that's really important to me because I don't do things unless I feel like it lines up with my passion and my purpose. And so it makes it really, really easy for me to say yes or no to different opportunities, because if it's like something that's presented and like, wow, that sounds great, but I honestly don't think that really lines up with what I'm focused on or what my skill set entails, then, there's probably someone else who's better for the job. So that's really important to me. But yeah, I would definitely say that I'm a 5 out of 5, and I would say that everyone I come into contact with is a 5 out of 5, just in a little different way. As far as my personal leadership style, I think I always try to take my 5 out of 5 into account. Something that's really important to me is that I use other people's strengths, because I know that, like I said, I don't have it all together, and neither does anyone else, but we do have certain things in certain areas where we're really great and where we can really shine. So it's really important to me to work with those, because if there's an area that I don't know a lot about, then I'm very comfortable saying, I don't know the answers to that. I want to work with someone who does. So it's really cool for me to use that in my leadership style. And the other thing that makes my leadership style unique is that I'm really focused on setting goals that are both specific and measurable. So when I have a project or I have something I'm supposed to be doing, then I like to say, okay, what are the potential outcomes that we're looking for? What is it that we want to make happen? And then how are we going to accomplish that? And then, of course, within that, whose strengths can be best utilized to help us accomplish that? So that's how I would describe my leadership style. When it comes to spring retreat specifically, and I think of what I want those new members to gain and, what specific goals I would set, there are a couple things that I think of based on, again, my experience as a new member as well. And one thing that I really want these new members to gain from their retreat is confidence in their role and in their selection as a member of the Florida Cicerones. Something that's so important to me is that every single person feels valued and that they all understand that they are there for a reason. I want them to know that regardless of their strengths and weaknesses, we need them and we want them. And that's something that's really important for me to kind of creating a sense of belonging, is understanding that you are wanted. So that's something I definitely want the new members to gain from their retreat. Additionally, I want them to gain a sense of support and a sense of family. I understand completely that it's really hard to thrive in an area where you don't feel comfortable. And, for example, working with my first year students in the residence halls, or just, having been a new student to multiple different schools growing up, I understand that when you have those people in your life, or those people just in the hallway who say like, hey Danielle, how are you? I want to give that to the new members, and I want them to really walk away feeling like, hey, like these people know me and they like me, and I fit in here, because I think that's going to help them do their best in the organization and as well as in the university. And finally, I want them to gain a sense of happiness and pride in not only who they are, but in the people that they're around. I want to help them, foster relationships and really just learn to appreciate the people they're around, and know that, again, they're all there for a reason, and that, they're what make the organization great. So my role in that as a spring retreat leader would be, like I said, originally, to be present. That's something that's very important to me, and I want to be engaged in the spring retreat, and I want to really just be there and help them make the most of every single moment that takes place during that time. My role additionally would be to be an activator. I want the new members to, like I said, help build relationships and to help them fall in love with the organization. And so that's something that I feel like takes action. It's not something that's going to happen passively. So as a retreat leader, I definitely want to make sure that I do what I can to take the steps that it requires to really get them to feel that way. And finally, I want to be a resource to the new members. As one of the first people that they really come into contact with, I want to make sure that I'm there for them. I want to make sure that if they have any questions, they feel comfortable coming to me. I know that I'll talk to them a little bit before their mentors will actually get to meet them officially. So I just want to make sure that in that time, and as well as throughout the rest of the semester and as the rest of their time in the Florida Cicerones, I'm going to be someone that they can reach out to and someone who can help them when they need it, whether that's related to our organization or not. So those are all that I have for you, but thank you all so much for your time and for the opportunity.